Let's begin with a quote from Suzuki Roshi. In the beginner's mind, there are many possibilities. In the expert's mind, there are few. The mind is a tool for creating and storing knowledge. It's good at balancing a checkbook and learning multiplication tables. Everything the mind knows is an expression of the consciousness that created it. Consciousness is responsible for our embodiment, for creating a blueprint for a body before conception, and then transforming the plan for that body into flesh and blood. And even though consciousness is responsible for our flesh and blood properties, which includes the human brain, it doesn't work from architectural drawings. Consciousness doesn't know algebra, how to do crossword puzzles, or short a stock. These are effects of the human mind, which consciousness created. Consciousness didn't need a book to create DNA, the universe, or human procreation. It's the nonverbal intelligence of a life force that needs no words to execute its evolutionary mandate. Enlightenment is also an expression of consciousness, and that's why it's so hard to define. Like consciousness, it cannot be perceived by the mind, so we attempt to define it by seemingly contradictory statements and approximation. Zen-like koans that tend to confuse the beginner who's attracted to the subject but doesn't know where to start. Quote, "You can find it if you don't try," unquote. Quote, "You can achieve it if you don't want to," unquote. If you try to define it, you'll fail. If you're following someone else, you'll never find it. If you claim to be enlightened, you are not. Which raises the question, how do we know who is and who isn't enlightened? Is there a committee for voting an individual in or out, sort of like enshrining someone in the Baseball Hall of Fame? Perhaps it's a sure thing for people who've had a lot of books written about them. The Bible, anyone? Is declaring an individual enlightened an objective or subjective process? Are there standards? But wouldn't the whole notion of standards risk ridicule and scorn? Wouldn't the standards be fraught with exceptions? In fact, wouldn't there be double standards? There seems to be certain qualities that people mention when they talk or write about enlightenment. Want to know if someone's enlightened? You could apply one of the above tests or simply move in with the person for 3 weeks. Nothing beats living with someone in proximity. It's the best way to feel a person's magnetism, charisma, or realize he's a self-appointed pretender. Of course, the person you label as exalted and noble, someone else might deem a lowlife. And what about candidates who are dead? That's tricky. Formulae don't work. Neither does proximity. So you say, maybe I can't explain it, but if I met someone who was enlightened, I'd know it in an instant. Aha, the old gut feeling gambit. Bravo, because that may just be the way.